Okay. Okay, so we're going to try this outside because Trey's really happy outside at the moment, and we'll see how it goes. If this doesn't work, then we'll try again tomorrow. Okay, because Mommy needs your help. So, when it comes to drinking, I can't tell you, just for the majority of individuals that I have worked with and both of my kids, how important it is to learn how to use a straw. Because you can use a straw in so many environments. Let's forget what they said last year about straws being bad for the environment. For those with disabilities, we need disposable straws. Because trying to wash out all those fancy ones and then the ones that are sharp, that's a lot of work, and you're putting more risk for infection. So if you want recyclable straws, go for it. But if you learn how to drink from a straw, then you open the doors to so many more possibilities. So Trey is very efficient at this in a variety of settings with a variety of cups and straws. So I thought first I'd kind of show you if you were new to this. Now, years ago, we used to go out to the beauty supply store and buy the empty brand new perm bottles because they had a pointy tip on them and they were very soft, so we could control them when we squeezed, and it also created a vacuum. You don't necessarily have to do that now because you can do that with the juice boxes and juice pouches that are out there 99% of the time. I, with my preschoolers, used to use the Juicy Juice boxes because as long as you didn't play with it, when you put that straw in, you got a really tight seal around it. The other thing that's really important to decide here is if you're working with someone who has poor lip closure and they don't do the whole, can you do the mwah? If they aren't going to be able to close around a little straw, I used to go to the hardware store and I would buy aquarium tubing. You can get that like up to 1/2 inch big in diameter, 1/4 inch, 1/8 of an inch, until you work it down to a regular straw size. But if they cannot fully close around a little straw and they're not getting it when you put it in that they need to close around it, then you need to start with a bigger straw. And if you're using something that's vacuum, that has that seal when you push on it, you're going to have control as they're learning. So you're not going to be putting half the juice box in there and they're going to choke on it. You're going to put those few steps to get that, ooh, what is that? And when you also get that, ooh, your mouth automatically purses. So I don't have one of my favorites. He drank all those. But I did get a juice pouch, and this is a pretty tight seal. And if you're using those other kinds of tubings, you can make this big enough to get that tube in, create a seal around it. You know, come on, go in the junk drawer. There's duct tape. So, hey, man. Okay, so when you take the pouch and someone starts to do that, ooh, you can squeeze in. And as you squeeze, then they start to learn how to do the suck. If you have someone, whoa, slow down. When you have someone, if you've had swallowing issues or aspiration issues, then you're going to talk to your doctor, whoever your swallowing therapist is, which might be your OT, or if you're going to feeding clinic, because sometimes you might need to start with thickened liquids instead of a thin one if you have that issue. And if you have that issue, you're already going to know through whatever testing you've already been through or whatever experiences you've been through. And really then if you have a little fine motor skills, Trey can pick up the pouches on his own. So that's very handy dandy when we're traveling, but the pouches are easy to pick up. If you have any kind of a rake motion, here, are you going to pick it up? Go ahead. Show them how to reach out and get it. Get it. It doesn't take a pincer. If you have a rake, you're going to get it and be able to move it around. That's why I like these little boxes too, because They're actually the size of the cardboard, so they're really easy to get in that fist. Oh my, there we go. Is that all gone? So will you help me show them something else? We also have, there are also, this is almond milk. These, if you're needing to use that thicker in diameter straw, these have this huge space here. So you're going to make it as big as your straw is and try not to make it bigger. Or if you do, then you're going to make sure that you seal up around it. This kind of goes right in, and let me see if I accomplish that. Yep, because it's coming out the top and it's not coming around here. So, can you show them how to pick that up? You're being so very cooperative. I'm going to have to get you a special treat when we're all done. There you go. This one's wider. And the taller boxes like this, if you have someone using a wheelchair tray, it's so easy for them to just grab it and tip. Just grab it and tip. You don't actually have to lift it up in the air. And with that size, you really don't have to bend down very far either. But if you can master straws, then when you go out, you can grab the same cup as everybody else with the straw. If you do have a leakage problem, sometimes I keep tape, but other times the bigger ones, when we go out, are easier for Trey because he just does a little tilt where the little ones with the paper aren't as secure. Can I have that back for a minute? Then for those of you who have other drinks, and sometimes like we like to get Trey to drink watered down juice, so he's not getting all the sugar. We put in part water, part sugar. We do have some toddler cups that have the built-in part that he likes. They make these tops. All right, sorry, I did it the wrong way. He likes to kind of have that loop on the same side with his mouth. This one is very hard. They make them in all different densities so that you can have one of those that's really soft. I think the Nook brand and one of the Play Schools that has the flip lid where the straw comes out. The straw is actually more of a silicone. We don't use those anymore because Trey will bite them. And when he bites them, they come apart. Where we can get teeth marks on this and we still get the cup to last for 5 or 6 months before we have to replace it. Also, when we go to places like we went to Disney and you get those reusable mugs, these are great because then you get to bring them home, but you get to adjust the top lid wherever the straw is going to be best, whether it's in the middle, on the side, and you have that nice handle. And that's just the cream of the crop. When you have a handle, and pretty much these handles are so easy to hold on to, whether you use a finger, whether you grab it. Sorry, there was a big truck. So you can then graduate to these kind of things. But then we still keep, when we're out, when it's hot in June and July and the kids are rolling into 5Ks or they're doing the historic half marathon, I keep the little boxes, these, and the pouches during the summer in the freezer. So when we leave the house at 4 or 5 a.m., we pop those in the backpack, and then when they are thirsty on the race course, it's so easy for a runner to just stop, hold it out, they take a couple sips, then the runner puts it away, they go on their way. It's not a big drawn out thing. And it's so much easier for children and adults with cerebral palsy to be able to control the amount of liquid that comes in with a straw instead of just trying to open the cup. If you have some problems with your hands, this can become overwhelming and then you make the mess. But it's also very difficult to control exactly how much comes out and then how much you get in your mouth. And I used to have little kids get very overwhelmed because the liquid is just coming, and it's so much easier for them to control it when they're doing a straw. If it's something you haven't tried before, if you have an individual with respiratory issues, swallowing issues, you certainly need to talk to your medical professionals first. But goodness, while you're at home right now, that's a skill, if you can master it, is going to change the way you travel. You're not going to have to bring, if you were still and if they can suck a bottle, you can take that bottle nipple, start transferring it over and doing the straw, and it will make traveling, road trips, it will make your life so much easier without having to bring everything special when you go out. And then you're going to know they're going to have a little more control, and you're not going to have all those wet shirts when you're in the restaurant and that kind of thing. If you need some specific advice on the size to start with, or if you need if you've been so good, if you need to thicken things, that you definitely need to talk about with your professionals, whoever they may be. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions that I can answer from my experiences, you'd be happy to help me do that. Trey says he'll be happy to help me, and we can get that on our way. So thank you.